Good morning. New York City is sinking under its own weight. New research has found that the New York City is slowly sinking under the weight of its skyscrapers, increasing the threat from rising oceans. According to a study published this month in the journal Earth's Future, the city is sinking at an average rate of 1 to 2 millimeters per year. That's a lot, though. Sinking happens naturally as the ground is compressed, but researchers say the weight of the city is speeding it up. More than what? More than 1 million buildings are spread across New York City. The research team calculated that all those structures add up to about 1.5 trillion metric tons. 1.5 trillion metric tons. Can you imagine that? Pressing down on the earth. According to the study, the rate of compression varies throughout the city. Midtown Manhattan skyscrapers are largely built on rock, which compresses very little, while some parts of Brooklyn, Queens, and downtown Manhattan are looser soil and sinking faster. Well, the process is slow. Lead researcher Tom Parsons of the U.S. Geological Survey said parts of the city will eventually be underwater. Gosh, it's inevitable. The ground is going down and the water is coming up. At some point, those two levels will meet, said Parsons. Yes, Parsons said it should take hundreds of years before New York is under the sea. But the parts of the city are more at risk. Speaking of Manhattan, Parsons said the average elevation in the southern part of the island is only 1 or 2 meters above sea level. It is very close to waterline, and so it is a deep concern. The Earth's changing climate and rising ocean could also make parts of the city disappear underwater faster, and New York City is already at the risk of flooding from massive storms like Hurricane Sandy a decade ago or Hurricane Ida 2 years ago. Yeah, they named those hurricanes all the time. New York City isn't the only place sinking. San Francisco also is putting considerable pressure on the ground. In Indonesia, the government is Am I reading it right? In Indonesia, the government is preparing to move its capital from Jakarta, which is sinking into the Java Sea, really, to a new city being built on a different island. Discussion. What are your thoughts on the study's findings? Are any parts of your country at risk from rising sea levels? I don't know that. Are there any cities in your country that often experience flooding? Well, when we have the typhoon, it's always having the problems. What parts of the world do you think will be worst affected by climate change? Can you name that? Are extreme weather events common where you live? For the discussion, could you see yourself living in New York? Yes, I want to live in New York. Are there many skyscrapers where you live? What are the biggest problems facing your town or city? What do you imagine your town or city will look like 100 years from now? Probably it's the same. It's Kyoto. We are not going to change. Hope and wish. What are the nicest coastal cities you've been to? Hawaii. Ocean.